Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be reading chapters 19 and 20 today. So we've got chapter 19, it's The Inventing Room, and Everlasting Gobstoppers and Hair Toffee. That's quite the title. An inventing room is a room where you invent things, where you imagine and create new things. And so we're going to see how Willy Wonka invents everlasting gobstoppers and hair toffee. Interesting. All right, so let's see here. I just had it up. Here we go. All right, let's go ahead and read The Inventing Room. When Mr. Wonka shouted, "Stop the boat!" the Oompa Loompas jammed their oars into the river and backed water furiously. The boat stopped. The Oompa Loompas guided the boat alongside the red door. On the door it said, "Inventing Room. Private. Keep out." Mr. Wonka took a key from his pocket, leaned over the side of the boat, and put the key in the keyhole. "This is the most important room in the entire factory," he said. "All my most secret new inventions are cooking and simmering in here. Old Fickle Grubber would give his front teeth to be allowed inside just for 3 minutes. So would Prod Nose and Slugworth and all the other rotten chocolate makers. But now listen to me. I want no messing about when you go in. No touching, no meddling, and no tasting. Is that agreed?" "Yes, yes," the children cried. "We won't touch a thing." "Up to now," Mr. Wonka said, "nobody else, not even an Oompa Loompa, has ever been allowed in here." He opened the door and stepped out of the boat into the room. The four children and their parents all scrambled after him. "Don't touch!" shouted Mr. Wonka, "and don't knock anything over." Charlie Bucket stared around the gigantic room in which he now found himself. The place was like a witch's kitchen. All about him black metal pots were boiling and bubbling on huge stoves, and kettles were hissing, and pans were sizzling, and strange iron machines were clanking and spluttering, and there were pipes running all over the ceiling and walls, and the whole place was filled with smoke and steam and delicious rich smells. Mr. Wonka himself had suddenly become even more excited than usual, and anyone could see that this was the room he loved best of all. He was hopping about among the saucepans and the machines like a child among his Christmas presents, not knowing which thing to look at first. He lifted the lid from a huge pot and took a sniff. Then he rushed over and dipped a finger into a barrel of sticky yellow stuff and had a taste. Then he skipped across to one of the machines and turned half a dozen knobs this way and that. Then he peered anxiously through the glass door of a gigantic oven, rubbing his hands and cackling with delight at what he saw inside. Then he ran over to another machine, a small shiny affair that kept going put 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 put, and every time it went put, a large green marble dropped out of it into a basket on the floor. At least, it looked like a marble. "Everlasting Gobstoppers!" cried Mr. Wonka proudly. "They're completely new. I'm inventing them for children who are given very little pocket money. You could put an everlasting gobstopper in your mouth, and you could suck it and suck it and suck it and suck it and suck it, and it will never get any smaller." "It's like gum!" cried Violet Beauregard. "It's not like gum," Mr. Wonka said. "Gum is for chewing, and if you tried chewing one of these gobstoppers, you'd break your teeth off. And they never get any smaller. They never disappear. Never! At least, I don't think they do. There's one of them being tested this very moment in the testing room next door, and Oompa Loompa is sucking it. He's been sucking it for nearly a year now without stopping, and it's still just as good as ever. Now, over here," Mr. Wonka went on, skipping excitedly across the room to the opposite wall. Over here, I'm inventing a completely new line of toffees. He stopped beside a large saucepan. The saucepan was full of thick, gooey, purplish treacle, boiling and bubbling. By standing on his toes, little Charlie could just see inside it. "That's hair toffee!" cried Mr. Wonka. "You eat just one tiny bit of that, and in exactly half an hour, a brand new, luscious, thick, silky, beautiful crop of hair will start growing out all over the top of your head, and a mustache, and a beard." "A beard?" cried Veruca Salt. "Who wants a beard, for heaven's sake?" "It would suit you very well," said Mr. Wonka. "But unfortunately, the mixture is not quite right yet. I've got it too strong. It works too well. I tried it on an Oompa Loompa yesterday in the testing room, and immediately a huge black beard started shooting out of his chin, and the beard grew so fast that soon it was trailing all over the floor in a thick, hairy carpet. It was growing faster than we could cut it. In the end, we had to use a lawnmower to keep it in check. But I'll get the mixture right soon, and when I do, there'll be no excuse anymore for little boys and girls going about with bald heads." "But, Mr. Wonka," said Mike TV, "little boys and girls never do go about with—" "Don't argue, my dear child, please don't argue," cried Mr. Wonka. "It's such a waste of precious time. Now, over here, if you will all step this way, I will show you something that I am terrifically proud of. Oh, do be careful. Don't knock anything over. Stand back." All right, so let's go ahead and review chapter 19 real quick. So, old Fickle Grubber, remember him from earlier in the story? He was one of the spies trying to steal the secrets. It says he would give his front teeth, okay? It means that he would bet his front teeth to get these secrets. And our front teeth are important. Plus, not having them makes us look funny. Right? So, it's a silly way to say that Fickle Grubber would give anything to know Wonka's secrets. Okay, the story describes Wonka as hopping about among the saucepans and machines like a child among his Christmas presents. So here you got this guy in the kitchen. He's wild and crazy, right? Just like kids on Christmas opening their present. Whee! So excited! Okay. It says that he was cackling and rubbing his hands, and cackling is laughing. Ooh, and he's turning knobs and dials, and he's flipping this and flipping that. Look here, woohoo! Look at my great candies. And then he invents the everlasting Gobstopper. So we can actually have the Gobstopper candies, right? Because you can buy those in the grocery store. In one of the movie versions, this is what the Gobstopper looks like. It's a little different, but kind of fun. Just to pretend candy. All right, and then Mr. Wonka is talking about toffee, which is this kind of candy here. And he says it will help make babies' hair grow. It's just another one of these funny, silly things that Wonka invents that really doesn't need to be invented. Because most boys and girls have hair, don't need to grow fake hair. So, once again, just very silly. Okay, the Great Gum Machine. We're going to read one more chapter today. So here we go. Mr. Wonka led the party over to a gigantic machine that stood in the very center of the inventing room. It was a mountain of gleaming metal that towered high above the children and their parents. Out of the very top of it, there sprouted hundreds and hundreds of thin glass tubes. The glass tubes all curled downwards and came together in a bunch and hung suspended over an enormous round tub as big as a bath. "Here we go!" cried Mr. Wonka as he pressed 3 different buttons on the side of the machine. A second later, a mighty rumbling sound came from inside it, and the whole machine began to shake most frighteningly, and steam began hissing out of it all over. And then suddenly, the watchers noticed that runny stuff was pouring down the insides of all the hundreds of little glass tubes and squirting out into the great tub below. And in every single tube, the runny stuff was of a different color, so that all the colors of the rainbow, and many others as well, came sloshing and splashing into the tub. It was a lovely sight. And when the tub was nearly full, Mr. Wonka pressed another button, and immediately the runny stuff disappeared, and a whizzing, whirring noise took its place. And then a giant whizzer started whizzing round inside the enormous tub, mixing up all the different colored liquids like an ice cream soda. Gradually, the mixture began to froth. It became frothier and frothier, and it turned from blue to white to green to brown to yellow, then back to blue again. "Watch," said Mr. Wonka. Click went the machine, and the whizzer stopped whizzing. And now there came a sort of sucking noise. Very quickly all the blue frothy mixture in the huge basin was sucked back into the stomach of the machine. There was a moment of silence. Then a few queer rumblings were heard. Then silence again. Then suddenly the machine let out a monstrous, mighty groan, and at the same moment a tiny drawer, no bigger than the drawer in a slot machine, popped out of the side of the machine, and in the drawer there lay something so small and thin and gray that everyone thought it must be a mistake. The thing looked like a little strip of gray cardboard. The children and their parents stared at the little gray strip lying in the drawer. There was a moment of silence. Then a few queer rumblings were heard. I think I had to go back. I got interrupted. That's okay. Then silence again. Then suddenly the machine let out a monstrous, mighty groan, and at the same moment a tiny drawer, no bigger than the drawer in the slot machine, popped out of the side of the machine. And in the drawer there lay something so small and thin and gray that everyone thought it must be a mistake. The thing looked like a little strip of gray cardboard. The children and their parents stared at the little gray strip lying in the drawer. "You mean that's all?" said Mike TV, disgusted. "That's all," answered Mr. Wonka, gazing proudly at the result. "Don't you know what it is?" There was a pause. Then suddenly, Violet Beauregard, the silly gum-chewing girl, let out a yell of excitement. "By gum, it's gum!" she shrieked. "It's a stick of chewing gum!" "Right you are!" cried Mr. Wonka, slapping Violet hard on the back. "It's a stick of gum! It's a stick of the most amazing and fabulous and sensational gum in the world." Okay. So, chapter 20. First, the word sprouted from the very beginning of the chapter. Okay. It looked like glass tubes were sprouting from all over the place. The word sprouting means to grow out of. And so all of these little tubes in his factory were growing out of. That's what it made us think of, right? So, sprouted, growing out. A tub, think of like a bathtub, right? That's what he's talking about there. When he says hanging over as a tub as big as a bathtub, okay, just basically a container. And then, of course, the gray little rectangle of chewing gum. "By gum, it's gum!" she shouts. So gum. Chewing gum. All right, so Mr. Wonka invents Gobstoppers and toffee that grows hair and gum. We'll find out later what kind of gum he invents. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for paying attention. We'll catch you later. Bye now.